Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Miller, and I'm going to talk to you about the origins of COVID-19. So, COVID-19, as we all know, has been a virus that has spread all across the globe, infecting millions and millions and millions of people, and thus far has led to the death of 1.5 million people worldwide. So, the government is saying that this virus had originated from a human eating a horseshoe bat from an open air wet market in Wuhan, China. There are a lot of fallacies in this argument, however, not a lot of evidence to back it up, and I believe that this virus was created in a lab, and the government does not want to tell us this. So, I've done a plethora of research on this topic, and I found a lot of great articles that point towards evidence that this virus was in fact made in a lab. So first of all, I believe the government is concealing information regarding the origins of COVID, and they need to at least admit there's a chance that this virus came from a GOF, a gain of function lab in Wuhan. So experts claim that the humans contracted this virus from a horseshoe bat in an open air wet market. This horseshoe bat has a coronavirus that is 95% similar to that of the virus we have been infected with today, which makes sense that this virus came from the horseshoe bat. However, this horseshoe bat was not even being sold in the open air wet markets at the time of the first cases of COVID. And also tissue samples were taken from all of the animals at the open air wet market that supposedly started the coronavirus and have all coming back as false for coronavirus. So it seems a little strange that scientists are claiming it came from this area when in fact it is very likely that it did not. These GOF labs have been operating for many years thus far. And even Obama paused funding on the GOF labs because of the high risk of contracting a pandemic potential virus. So it's clear that these coronaviruses came from a bat, but like I'm saying, I don't think they directly went from the bat to the human. I think they were manipulated in a lab. The GOF research was in quote, high risk and pandemic potential, and has been called this by many scientists and head officials of the government, including President Obama, who paused funding on the GOF research. This funding was then resumed in 2017 after Obama's presidency had ended. And so what I'm proposing is that the government releases the data collected at the specific GOF lab in Wuhan and admit the virus had potentially originated from this lab. The government also needs to stop research at these GOF labs because it is now proven that a man-made virus can prove to be deadly and infect the entire population of the globe. The government has also discredited many virologists and other scientists all around the globe, and they seem to be hiding information regarding the deaths, the origin, and many other parts of this coronavirus situation. So many scientists have questioned the origin of this, saying that it is not likely this virus came directly from a bat being eaten by a human. So it's kind of fishy that the government is feeding us this information and has not even looked into the fact that it had potentially come from these labs. And so another point is that these labs specifically work with influenza, SARS, MERS, and coronaviruses, which is entirely what the coronavirus is made up of. And they have manipulated thousands and thousands of viruses looking for pandemic potential viruses in order to protect us, when in fact they have just brought this new virus into the world. And maybe they did it by accident, maybe it was on purpose. I'm not going to get into that much. But I think that these GOF research labs definitely need to be shut down, especially after this pandemic that we have gone through. So my first solution is that the government stops concealing all of this information. And secondly, they need to shut down these GOF labs, so there's no opportunity to create these new viruses. The risk to reward factor has favored inside of risk thus far, and I think it will continue to be that way into the future. As I said, nearly 1.5 million people have died from the virus, and there's no signs of slowing. And we, the people of the United States and citizens of the world, deserve to know where this virus came from. And if it in fact came from this government laboratory, I think that's very important for us humans to know. So, as I said, this virus, I believe it was manipulated in this lab that specifically works with other coronaviruses and has even admitted to working with viruses very similar to that of the coronavirus. These gain-of-function labs are extremely dangerous and just need to be put to a halt as soon as possible. COVID-19, there's a lot of conspiracies about it in all aspects, but I think this is the biggest conspiracy. I don't know whether the government accidentally infected one of the researchers with this virus, or even purposely let it into the human population in order to do something, maybe control population growth, which is the number one environmental problem in our society. So what I'm asking you guys is to think for yourselves. Don't completely listen to what the government has to say. They're always hiding some things. This is just, you just got to think for yourselves here. There's a lot of evidence pointing towards the fact that it has in fact came about from this factory in Wuhan, China, that works with these dangerous forms of coronaviruses and SARS. So thank you for listening to me, and I hope that you will do your research and think for yourself and not listen to everything the government has to tell us.